how do you deal with the algorithm? Because it certainly favors 5 star. It favors the fancier. Well, okay, my assumption, the little that I know, is that it favors the fancier properties.
So this is where we say, it's important to be true to who you are. So your assumption would be correct if you're managing the beach home or the mountain home, right? So let's turn it around though. Let's say you're coming to Huntsville, Alabama to go to take your family to the Space Center. You probably book your trip, 4, 6 weeks, 8 weeks in advance, sometime in advance. You go on to Airbnb, you look for the 5-star reviewed properties, you book a 2 or 3 day weekend stay. Now, what has that done? That's prevented a month-long insurance group of electricians, plumbers, whatever else have you. So most people, if they look at their calendar and they have no bookings for the next 6 weeks, they panic, right? And they throttle their prices down. I look at no bookings for 6 weeks and I say, great, because there is somebody showing up in town that needs 3 or 4 bedrooms for the next 6 or 8 weeks. And, we're the only game in town. So that sounds paradoxical, but between, it is not uncommon in our strata of the business for lower reviewed properties to outperform higher reviewed properties because of that factor.
You're giving me a lot of hope right now for my fairly not that great reviewed property. my 4.5 star reviewed property that I'm always stressing about.
We, across 350 properties, our average review score is about 4.5 and a half, 4.6.
That seems so much more well correlated. I always have this complaint about the 5-star or the star method in general, where there's an aspect of human psychology that some people are just not going to give you the 5-star rating no matter what. They just don't care.
And here's an interesting thing. You'll see at scale within a given property, it's an oscillating factor, right? Because when you come straight out of the gate, you got the great pictures, everybody books it, and then you get a mix of people who are happy with what you deliver, and then the people who are expecting something different, and they review you low. So then the review score drops down super low, right? And then the only people willing to book the 3.8 starred reviewed property have pretty low expectations. So they show up and they're fine. And so then they start giving it 5 stars. And then over time, it creeps back up and up and up and up. And then, oh shit, we're back up in the 4.7 range. And Karen books it wanting a 5, gets there, got a 4.5 that, somehow, other people pushed it to 4.7 when it should have been 4.5. And she's like 1. And so now we're back down to the low point, and you see this constant up and down factor. And my guess is, while we don't run many luxury, I've talked with some people in luxury, and I think you'd find a similar thing even in the luxury, right? The people who really wanted the 5-star and they push it down to a 4.85. And then, only those people are happy with that book it. And then, so then they give it higher reviews and it pushes up. So I think that you just benchmark yourself to people's expectations, right? I feel like we meet the expectations of people who expect 4.5-star reviews properties as frequently as people who have 4.9-star properties meet their guests' expectations at 4.9. And that's the beauty of the 2-sided review system, as much as it drives me nuts sometimes and I want to yell and scream. It's just, that's the reality of what it is. So
this is a really helpful insight to me, because I'm under this assumption that everyone's striving for the chasing reviews. But now that I think about it, most of the people I know, the guy that I know that's really successful in Airbnbs, owns a dozen of these really high class quadplexes on Carolina Beach, and they're all they're beachfront resort places, and they're expensive and they're very nice. And he's chasing high reviews, but he's chasing this vacation customer. And here I am, I'm doing kind of the same thing you're doing, right? I got 7 properties. We're going to convert all of them to Airbnb, and they're outside of Fort Bragg. And so I am not going to get luxury beach resort customers. I'm going to get, regular folk. So so I look, I I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to be the Walmart. If I told my girlfriend, Miss Kate, that, she would freak out. She's like, no, we are not going to do that. We are going to give people magical experiences. And that's fine, because that's kind of built into us. And we're a little bit more artsy of a folk as well. So we're going to design with some eccentricities, but it does help me to kind of the psychology of it, to be like, okay, you're right. If you get a 4.5-star property, it's probably because the 4s were impressed, and the people that were over expecting were a little under impressed, and you went to your average, which is, and like you said, that doesn't mean you underperform.